Okay, now probably one of the most popular ways that you're going to see animations used out there on the internet, and the simplest ways to add animations to your website, is just toggling classes with JavaScript. So I'm going to give you a little example here. Let's say this hover button is going to act kind of like a menu. So when we click it, we have a menu sliding up and down. So let's see how we can pull that off. So I just made a new nav here called Yoshi. All right, just a simple nav with a paragraph called Yoshi. We just got a Shiba Inu, so we're just using the Yoshi name everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna just take this nav, add a little bit of height to it. I'm gonna say min height 10 VH, add a little background color. I'm just gonna copy this one over from the button, paste it in here. Let's take a look at that. So there we go. We have that, and then we have our Yoshi text there. Okay, cool. So let's center that. We can just do a display flex. And again, if we just do justify content center and the line item center, it's going to drop it right there in the middle. Let's also change the color to white. There we go. Okay, so there we go. So what I want to do now is I want to add a position. We can do actually a transform, translate. Now, if we use Y here and do 50%, look at that. That's going to move 50% of it down based on its size. Okay, so basically half of this is going to push it down. Now, if I want to push it down all the way, I can say 100%, right? But I want it in the opposite direction. So I want minus 100%, which is going to push it all the way up, so we cannot see it. All right, so 50%, just so you can see, refresh. I'm not sure why this got stuck. Goes right there to the center where Yoshi is. So we can use this property to basically toggle it. So again, all I need to do is go out here and maybe do a toggle class. I can name it nav slide. And all I need to do is say transform, translate Y minus 100%. And now if you remember, we need to add that transition. So transition, the name of it is transform. So that's what I want to animate. The duration, let's say 1 second. I'm going to do an ease out, easing. Okay, and hit save on that. Perfect. So now in app.js, again, I just linked, I haven't even linked it. You can just create a file called app.js, go here below, right above the body tag here, the closing body tag, just add a script and hit tab, and the source, set that equal to /app.js. Okay, we're just linking them together. So here what I want to do now is select the button and select the nav. So when I click on the button, I want to animate the nav. So let's just select both, const button. All right, we're creating a variable. And the way we can select it is with document dot query selector. And here in quotes, I'll just pass in the button. And next we can grab the nav the same way. We just need to change the text here to nav. Okay, now what I want to do is on the button, so button dot, we can add a method called add event listener. So this can be either scroll, click, focus, a bunch of other stuff. But in our case, we want a click. So when our users click on something, I want to run a function. We're going to use an arrow function here, which looks like this. All right, so it's parentheses and an equal sign and a bigger than sign and curly brackets. All right, so basically when you click on the button, run everything inside here. So what do I want to do? Grab the nav, class list, dot add. So I want to add a class. Now, which class do I want to add? The nav slide. So I can say nav slide and hit save. All right. So now when I click on this, boom, that fades out. Perfect. Now let me go back here and actually make this a bit faster. I can do 0.75, hit save. So when we click on it, that goes away. Now if I click on it again, nothing happens because we already added that to it. So how can we toggle it? Well, thankfully in JavaScript, we have a little method here that's called toggle. So it basically detects, it's kind of like an if statement. If it has the class on it and we click on it, remove it. If it doesn't have on it, add it. So let's hit save. So there we go, and click, and there we go. Now there's a little problem. It just pops in, which is, I mean, as you can see, it's not as nice as it's fading out. So why does that happen? That's quite a common issue that you might experience, is make sure you don't add the transition on the class that you're adding to your element. Because if you think about it, when we're removing the class, we're also removing the transition. So it's not gonna know how to transition back in or back out. So always, always add your transitions on the element and not on the class that you want to animate in. Okay? And that's it. There we go. We can click out and click in, and there we go. We have a nice animation running here. Now we can probably make it even a bit slower. Again, on this monitor, I'm running it at 30 FPS, so it looks a bit weird for me, but that's it. That's much better. Okay, now if you want to do multiple properties, that's not a problem. You can just go here and say, I want opacity 1, okay? And then here, opacity 0, and that's it. Now it doesn't work. As you can see, it doesn't work because we need to transition the opacity as well. So we can just change this to all actually, and then whatever we add in here, it's going to transition it for us. So now let's see, boom. It's just the other way. Unfortunately, we want to go from 1 to 0. Now I can remove this because I want to show you something. Let me just remove that. Click, fades in, fades out. There we go. Perfect. Let me refresh this again. And there we go. That's it. Now, one problem with this is it's nice and you can pull off quite easy things. It's when you want to add multiple things that it becomes a bit more difficult. So just imagine that you want to slide this in, and once this finishes, you want the text to pop up. So that gets a bit more complicated because you have to make multiple classes and maybe add a delay here of like 1 second to the text popping up. So you have to time everything perfectly. So in this case, if I want that to happen, for this to pop in and then for the text to just appear, let me just get rid of this opacity. I don't like it as much. So this sliding in and then the text popping up, for that I would need to add another class here. So I'll do maybe, let me just grab that paragraph for you really quickly. So again, this is Yoshi pretty much. So I'll just do P class list toggle. I'll make one called fade. Okay. So let me go here. I'll make the fade and I'll just add an opacity to 1 like that. And it goes from 0. So let me do P from opacity 0 to opacity 1, right? So when I click it, it's actually the other way. I keep messing up the, so it's from 1 to 0, right? Hit save, let's see. So when we click it, it fades in. When we click it, it fades out. Perfect. So let's add a transition to it. So transition, fade, 0.5 ease out. Hit save. Okay, so click. It's not fading in. Let's see why not. Oh, not fade. Opacity is the one I want to do. Okay. And look at that. Still doesn't do it. Let's see why not. Oh, forgot the S here. Okay. See, it's been such a long time since I even used these transitions. I just generally don't touch it. I do everything through GSAP, which is a library that we're going to get into. That I forgot about it. So let's go here, and there we go. Now it fades in and fades out. But again, I want to time it. So this goes down first and then it fades in. So for that, I need to add a delay here. on the slider. So the animation runs for 0.5 seconds, and then let's do 0.5 seconds here as the delay. So there we go. So again, it gets complicated now because actually the delay should be on the other one, shouldn't it? Oh, I'm such a silly goose. Here we go. I want this to happen instantly, but this to fade in. Okay, so click and then it fades in. Perfect. Click, fade in. Okay, now again, if you have multiple different animations running, you're gonna have to keep calculating. How much do I need to delay this? How much do I need to delay that? It gets a bit frustrating. But anyway, that's it. Again, sorry for dragging out a bit too long, but I hope you got a general understanding on how to do basic animations in JavaScript. So let's move on finally to more fun stuff and get our first project up and running. I'll see you there. Hello everybody and welcome to chapter 2. We're going to start building our first project, which is going to be a classic cookie pop-up that you get on every website and you're like, stop it. Well, at least ours is going to be quite nice and fancy looking. So let me refresh and show you what we're going to build. So there we go. We have this nice pop-up, boom, and we have a nice cookie animation going there. So let me refresh that again for you to see. Now, again, the video that you're currently seeing is running on 30 FPS. So when you're going to build it out, it's going to look much, much nicer and much smoother. So I know this is going to be, unfortunately, all the videos are going to be 30 FPS. So always going to look nicer on your end. Okay, now the course files and everything. So if you want to have access to the finished one, are going to be linked on this video somewhere down here. Just go below the video, should be attached, or next to this video should be a finished files and starter files as well. Now I'm going to show you how I got this cookie set up, and we're going to set actually everything up from scratch. So, but if you already want the cookie included, you're going to have that as well. Okay, let's get going. See you in the next video.